Today we're going to be looking at the all-new 2022 Wagoneer. And now this is the baby version of the Grand Wagoneer, but that doesn't matter in terms of size. They're actually about the same size. This is more the baby version because it's going to be lacking some of the features that the Grand Wagoneer has. But this being a fully maxed out Series 3, it is still going to cost you $88,000. Is it worth it to pay that much for the Wagoneer, or should you just buy its big brother instead? But first, shout out to Arsman Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, and Ram of Clarksville for getting us this vehicle today. If you are in that area and you need any of those vehicles, check out their website in the description below. Let's get into it. Let's hop into the front of the Wagoneer. Of course, the first thing you're going to notice is the iconic Jeep grille. Now, they don't actually brand this as a Jeep. It is branded as Wagoneer, thus the branding up here, which looks absolutely incredible. Of course, you do have your LED headlights and fog lights, and on the Series 3, the auto high beams do come standard. Let's move along to the side of the Wagoneer. And of course, the first thing you're gonna notice is just how long this vehicle is. It is 214 inches long, which is absolutely huge. Of course, this does have the beautiful $600 red velvet pearl coat on it. It looks great. Of course, you have these 22-inch rims, which are a part of the $5,500 premium package. That's also going to include the power running boards and the roof rack. Of course, for the power running boards, those are automatic. So when you open the door, you will see the running board will deploy, which allows you to easily get into the vehicle. Of course, you do have the Quadralift air suspension, which is going to add 10 inches of ground clearance to the vehicle. Let's move along to the back of the Wagoneer. First thing we want to mention with this glass, this does not drop separately like you see in some large SUVs, but this is their acoustic dampening glass, which they have around the vehicle to help keep the inside of the car a bit quieter. Of course, you have that same Wagoneer badging from the front along the back, still looks great. Of course, you have your LED tail lights. Now, this says it has the hands-free power liftgate, but we actually couldn't find it. Of course, you can use the key, which we did note you can also use to lower the vehicle. Of course, double tapping the key will automatically open the tailgate. Of course, with the third row up, you're going to have about 27.4 cubic feet of storage space. You can drop this third row and raise it using the buttons over here. If you lower the third row entirely, you'll get up to about 70 cubic feet of storage space. And with the buttons, you can also lower those second row seats, but we are not going to do that because when we tested that, the seat gets dangerously close to absolutely destroying the screen on the back of the driver's seat. But if you were to lower those, you'd get about 116.7 cubic feet of storage space. Under the hood of the Grand Wagoneer, you are actually going to find a few cool things before we get into this engine. The first being this badge up here, which tells you where the vehicle was made. That is a very cool touch to show just how born in America this vehicle is. The other weird thing we saw is this icon of a man over here that looks kind of strange. I don't know why they put that there. But besides that, you're going to have a 5.7 liter V8 engine, which is going to produce 392 horsepower and 404 pound-feet of torque. This does have cylinder deactivation, which is going to help improve that gas mileage, and you're going to be getting around 15 in the city and 20 on the highway. This has an 8-speed automatic transmission, and Jeep says this can tow up to 10,000 pounds, which is very impressive. Let's talk about trims for the Wagoneer. Now, there are only 2 trims currently available, with the Series 1 still not made available yet, which is an all-time low for a Stellantis product. Of course, you have the Series 2. Now, this is not a Series 2. The Series 2 they have on lot here is covered in snow. But that is going to start at about $69,440, and it's going to get you adaptive cruise control, active lane keep assist, and wireless charging. And the second trim available is the Series 3 like we have today. For $74,440, you're going to get a heads-up display, the option to get the power run-in boards, and the Quadra air suspension. In about the 30 minutes since we've moved this vehicle, you can see little icicles have managed to form on the tire of the vehicle, which shows you just how cold it is out here. So if you're liking this video, be sure to like and subscribe for weekly automotive content. Tastes like tire. Let's talk about available safety features on the Wagoneer. This is going to have front and rear parking assists, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, forward collision warning, and front and rear collision mitigation.
All right, everyone, now we're going to get into the Wagoneer. Here's your key. It's a pretty nice chunky key, different from the Jeep keys, which is nice. This vehicle does have the proximity key, so you just give a tug on the door and you can see a running boards deploy. Before getting in, one thing I want to mention here is these floor mats are insanely nice. They're part of the luxury group, the premium package that Colin mentioned earlier on the side. That's about $5,500. And those floor mats are ridiculously soft. So closing the door right there, it has a pretty good thud to it. We can start up the vehicle by putting our foot on the brake and hitting the button. I don't like that button. I feel like the material they put around it is pretty cheesy, actually. But that is the only cheesy material in this interior. They've done a very nice job with the stitching here. The whites, the blacks, the woods all come together. I really like this grayish wood they have in here. My only material complaint is the big gloss black slab right here in the middle. That's already collected a lot of fingerprints. If you're not a clean freak though and you don't mind it, then it's not going to be an issue. Looking around the interior, there is just a big feeling of spaciousness in here. This is a huge vehicle and you can absolutely feel that. The 2-spoke steering wheel is kind of an homage back to the older Wagoneer, the original Wagoneer, which is very cool to see. And it is nice, thick, and leather wrapped, so it feels great. You have a great view of all your screens. The viewing angles on the front and the screen here are good, so you can easily see them from your driving position. And then just looking forward, you do have a heads-up display we'll take a closer look at, and some just very thin A-pillars makes for an easy sight line out. And your hood actually is very short and kind of stubby, which means you have a great view out front. The overall interior is great here. You have great sight lines. They did a very nice job. Let's take a bit of a deeper look. In this vehicle, you have a lot of driving adjustments you can make. Of course, the seats are adjustable in many different ways. I believe it's 12 different ways total. And the seats here are very comfortable. They are heated and ventilated. Front seats are especially very comfortable. They do lack in adjustability a little bit compared to competitors like Lincoln with their ultra luxury super folding seats, but they're still pretty comfortable. Now, let's take a look at your adjustable steering wheel. It is power tilt and telescoping. And then in addition, you also have power adjustable pedals. This is a bit of a rare feature. Colin's gonna go down. You can see you can move the pedals forward and back. That is a really neat feature. All right, guys, let's talk infotainment. This is an extremely important part of any vehicle, especially this one. It has that all-new Uconnect 5 screen. You can see your home screen right here with your maps and your music and your phone all easily accessible. Of course, for those who don't like this home screen, you can access Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Now, I want to show you the driver profiles. First of all, you can have up to 5 different driver profiles here, along with a valet profile, which will kind of limit the car speed and everything. There's a lot linked to your driver profile. For example, your memory seat, temperature settings, settings you put in the infotainment, like which apps you have in your app drawer, functions like that are all tied to your driver profile. Looking throughout the rest of the vehicle, you have some basic vehicle controls right here. There's not too much, and the biggest disappointment right here, only a rear view camera. There is no 360 camera here. Now, you do have some nice guidance and is a nice rear view camera, but that is probably one of my biggest disappointments on this entire vehicle. You can also perform functions like folding headrests if you want an easier view out the back, or extending the power steps. There is also an off-road page, which we can launch, and we can take a little bit of a deeper look at this now. You can see that it's going to show where it's sending power throughout the vehicle, and then you have basic accessory gauges, Pitch and roll are fairly common, and you can see this does have the air suspension, so you can see where the vehicle is kind of set there and what each of the wheels are doing. So this is a really neat little off-road menu. This is actually the fastest off-road menu I've seen in a vehicle in its infotainment system. Also, the latitude and longitude, probably something most people will never ever use, but I find it to be super duper cool. Now, continuing through the infotainment, you have a basic media page. The sound system in here, this has the 23 sound speaker Macintosh sound system. By the way, I keep reading it as Macintosh because there's no Mac there. Let me know what you all think. Do you think it's Mac or Macintosh? I'm pretty sure it's Macintosh. This does have Sirius XM, of course, but that 23 speaker sound system is one of the best sound systems I've heard in a vehicle. It is incredible. Unfortunately, you all know the YouTube rules. We cannot show you it. In the comfort section, this is your pretty standard affair. For a while, Stellantis vehicles have had all of their controls in the menu here. They have not been physical. That bothers a lot of people, but this system is so snappy, it actually does not bother me very much. You can see it is just like a smartphone in terms of how snappy it is. Navigation is what we've come to expect. It's telling us, you know, it's giving us some helpful tips, like your fuel is low. Would you like me to route you to a fuel station? That is a great function. Most people, though, for maps are probably using their Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. You have your phone projection right here, and then you have a few additional apps in this vehicle. That includes Alexa. That includes your Macintosh app, which is going to let you kind of see what the sound system is doing. The off-road pages we took a look at, you can kind of highlight these to make these apps more accessible, and of course you have like the own apps for just doing the headrest. So some really neat features here. This infotainment from a speed standpoint is incredible. It's very, very fast, one of the fastest in the industry. Oh, I also just noticed the marble background here looks fantastic. Sorry, a little side tangent there. But they did a very good job with it. The organization could be a little better. I could see some older folks being overwhelmed by just this large app tray and not knowing what to do. But other than that, the rest of this is laid out very, very well. All right, everyone, let's talk a little more about your center stack and interior here. First, I want to bring your attention up here. This seems like a largely misused space. I'm sure there's a reason it is like this, but I wish there was some other Jeep products have like a little storage cubby right here. I really wish we had something like that. Moving down to the screen, these buttons right here appear to be capacitive and let you change kind of the heat level on each item, but they work very poorly. It's very difficult, as you can see, to use them. Tapping them kind of is working right now, but sometimes it doesn't. You can see like that. Maybe it's just because my hands are cold, but that's kind of frustrating. It's best to just go into comfort through the menu. I am going to turn off my vented seats because I'm already very cold. There is one app in here I forgot to show you that I do want to show you. Some of you who have seen our Hyundai videos have seen features similar to this, and that is a relax mode. If we turn this on, Jeep will give us a nice little, you know, presentation there. We can go to Aurora. You can choose any sort of relaxing theme, and it's showing up there. Is it showing up there for you, Colin, on your side? So it's showing up on the passenger screen over there. We'll talk a little bit more about that screen in just a second. Now, moving down from there, you have a large row of buttons right here. I love the plain switch style of buttons. They feel great. They're nice, big, chunky. You can access it with gloves on, like we've been wearing gloves today. And opening up this center area, you will find charging and connectivity galore. You have many USB-A ports, USB-C ports, and you have an HDMI cable, which will connect into that little screen that Colin has on his side. You could probably fit like an Xbox Series S in here, connect it to the HDMI, and then play on that screen, which is super duper cool. And of course, you have an aux and cigarette lighter, so you have some old school connectivity as well, and a wireless charger. Closing that, you have a set of vibrating buttons down here. So these do not physically click, but the vehicle will vibrate to let you know that you've selected the function, which is really neat. There's typical features, auto start stop. If you turn off the auto start stop feature, which a lot of people do because it annoys them, and then turn the vehicle off, it will reset that. So you will have to press this every time you turn the vehicle on. You have some features to turn off safety features. Of course, you have your hazards right there, easily accessible. That is the only button down here that is actually physical. And then, of course, you have your tow haul mode, and you can turn off Colin's screen right there. Here is the button to change your air suspension level. You can move it up or down, change the height of the vehicle. To the left of that is your drive selector, so we can just twist into drive just like that, or twist into park. And you have your drive mode selector to the left of that. All of them big, easy to reach switches. And you have buttons for your 4-wheel drive low and your hill descent control buttons right there. Those also are not physical. Those are vibrating capacitive buttons. Now, you also have below this little wood section right here, storage galore. You have 2 cup holders with the little nubs we love to see. These are kind of second class nubs. I prefer the mechanical ones, but these will do the job. And then you also have 2 phone holders. This Uconnect 5 system can connect to 2 Bluetooth sources simultaneously, so that's a useful feature. Now, moving back from there, you have this big armrest. I like this split armrest design. Lincoln, I think, kind of started doing this, and some other automakers have followed them because it gives you room for this center storage cubby. They have a USB-C and A port in there, so more USB ports, and opening it up all the way, you will find a gigantic storage cubby, definitely large enough for a big purse or something like that. So they did a really nice job with this area up front. Now let's talk off-road. This vehicle does have the Quadra-Track off-road system. It has 4-wheel drive. It has about 24 inches of water fording capability. And with the air suspension, you can raise the suspension up to about 10 inches. And you can do that using the controls right here. This vehicle also has a terrain select system. So you can do that with this right here. You can select sport, auto, snow, rock, mud, or sand mud, excuse me, or rock. This vehicle also has a 48:1 crawl gear ratio, so that's going to really help in off-road situations. All right, everyone, let's take a look at your gauge cluster. It is fully digital and highly customizable. So going through it right here, you can see that we have kind of this main display on your main menu, which shows you large gauges and your speed. You can also go over to display some of the safety features. Scrolling through there, there's basic trip information that you would expect to see. You can pull your map up on this main display. In addition, you can also get some off-road features. You can get your audio, messages, and settings. But my favorite way of looking at the screen is by hitting a little button on the steering wheel right here. Now watch this. As I hit this, the screen will change. And now you have a little bit from each of your menus displayed at you at once. So you can have, for example, your safety information in the middle. And let's say you wanted maybe your some temperature for some reason displayed there, and you wanted your trip information displayed there. Now you have all of this information displayed nice and easy. You have that right there, and you can switch between different off-road settings right here, and angles and air suspension. So you can see if I want wheel angle, as I turn the steering wheel, that is reflected in that rightmost kind of little module, I guess you would call it. So that is a really neat little feature. This is how I would drive the vehicle most probably. All right, everyone, this is the $1,200 passenger touchscreen, and it is actually a really cool feature. I thought this was stupid at first, but after using it, it's really useful. For example, if you're driving down the highway and the driver's wondering, hey, let's stop for lunch, can we do that? You can absolutely do that. You can have you can pull up food on this screen, and you can send it to the driver, and you can send it to their navigation system, which is really neato. And then it will shoot you just right off your route. You can go get food and you will be right back, which is awesome. You can get Fire TV up here. You can also use that HDMI port that we saw down in this little cubby. I really want to try getting like an Xbox Series S plugged into one of these cars and gaming on one of these screens. That could be really, really cool. You could also have a little LAN party, plug in the back screens and you're good to go. You can also view the vehicle cameras. You can see we only have the rear view camera right here, which is a major disappointment. But other than that, you have the Amazon Fire TV integration, some basic controls like turning the screen on and off and the brightness. This is a really neat feature. I hope to see it trickle down to more vehicles soon. Now let's talk about the second row amenities. First, I want to bring your attention to something really nice. That's this sunroof. That is part of that nearly $5,000 premium package that's included in it, and it is really nice. It also gives you a little baby sunroof in the back of the vehicle. They've done a really nice job here. Let's talk about some of the other amenities back here. The seats are pretty comfortable. I'd say they're on par for the segment. They feel pretty similar to the Lincoln Aviator seats now that I'm sitting in them. So that's definitely definitely a good thing. Let's talk about some of these center amenities. You do have air vents back here. That is a must for any vehicle of this size especially. Then you have your own climate control. You can get up to quad zone climate control in the Wagoneer series. And you can see back here that we can control our own kind of rear climate. And we do have an auto climate control back here, as well as heated seats. That's part of the Series 3, is going to get the heated seats back here. There is plenty of power options back here. First of all, you have power coming out of each of your screens back here. You have a power option towards the bottom of those. And then you also have lots of power down here. You have a full-size outlet. You have USB-A, USB-C. You have a traditional cigarette lighter. So there is tons of power options back here, which is fantastic. These automakers are really starting to pay attention. You know, you have little Timmy back here with his 4 tablets and 3 iPhones and his vape, so he needs to be sure that he's charging all those. There's also plenty of storage spots down here. You can see that you have the little nubs, again, the second class nubs, not the physical ones we like to see, and you have a phone holder. They did an excellent job with the amenities back here. Series 3 definitely gets it right. All right, let's talk about your screens back here. These are about 10-inch screens, and you have one for each passenger. You can see Colin over there playing Pokemon Go instead of looking at his screen. Or holding the camera and helping out with this. You can choose your language right here. So we're English. We're gonna skip the remote pairing for now. And now you can watch a demo or continue. We're gonna watch the demo because I wanna show you something funny. When they show you the screen in this demo, you'll see it's much bigger than this screen. Look how thin the bezels are there compared to here. Just something interesting I noted. Now we will go back, exit the demo. There are some really neat features here. At first I was afraid. I thought, oh, they're gonna make you buy the in-car hotspot and then they're gonna just make you only use Fire that way. That is not how it works. You can connect your own network to this. So if you have a phone, for example, that has a Wi-Fi hotspot, you can connect it to that and then access Amazon Fire TV or Amazon Prime TV, which is awesome. If you have Amazon Prime offers a lot of included television shows at no extra cost. So for a lot of families, this is going to be a great feature. You can also download movies and shows while you're at your house from Amazon Prime, and then little Timmy can be back here lighting up a cloud and watching, you know, the latest episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as he's cruising down the road. By the way, that's our favorite show here at Gas Guzzlers. Definitely check it out if you haven't. But yeah, they did an excellent job with the screen. Also, you can plug in HDMI down under it. And you have the full-size power outlet down there, so you can have the Series S up front for the passenger, and you can get the full Series X or PS5 back here for the people in the back of the vehicle and have your LAN party playing Minecraft story mode. So super cool job there. All right, guys, let's check out the third row of the Grand Wagoneer. First, I want you to see what it's like with no one in there. If you just point the camera in there, you can see around, see the third row. This is what it looks like with all the seats up. Very spacious in there, and the light colors definitely are helping with that. Now, when it comes time to get in, we have our power deploying running board. That's very helpful. Now, I want to talk about the seat. There are 2 ways you can get in the back. This, of course, has the captain's chairs. So for little kids, they can kind of scurry around the side and through that center aisle. But for adults or larger, you know, teenagers, it may be more helpful to put this seat down. Now, in the rear, Colin mentioned that there is a risk of this back flying forward and hitting your very expensive screen right here. And that is true. If you press the seat down from the back, it primarily folds by folding the back of the seat very far forward and keeping the bottom of the seat kind of still. And that results in a very dramatic motion, which catapults forward and hits the screen. However, if you hit the shoulder button here, the way it folds is different. It keeps the alignment of the seat here and just slides it kind of forward and only a little bit forward. So that way you're not at risk of hitting your screen. That's very well engineered, much better than General Motors, where it does just fold forward and slap the screen if you hit it from the side. Clearly, Jeep thought about, like, you're gonna have kids using this button primarily, and maybe they thought you'll primarily have adults using the button in the back, and that's why they did it that way. Once you have the seat fold forward, getting in is very easy. You can see I have plenty of legroom back here. You know, it's a little cramped, but I can easily sit behind myself 3 times. So you can definitely fit 6 6-foot tall adults in here. And I would probably go as far as say you could probably fit 7, because this is a pretty wide rear. You could probably fit 3 side by side. I probably wouldn't recommend it for too long, or at least just cycle through who's in the middle right here. You do have plenty of amenities back here. The baby sunroof back here, fantastic. That's letting a lot of light in. And you have these huge rear rear windows. That's making it feel a lot lighter back here, a lot bigger. That is a great feature. You also have USB ports back here, and you have power folding seats. You can see I can power fold the seats back here and recline them, which is a very cool feature. In addition, you have air vents back here, and you even have cup holders with the little nub. So they definitely thought about the rear passengers here and did a very nice job with the third row. So what are we supposed to conclude about this, the 2022 Jeep Wagoneer Series 3? Well, I'm not really sure, actually. This vehicle leaves me with a lot of mixed emotions. I mean, it's not a stunning looker, but it's good enough that it's not disqualified. You know, its interior is really nice, but it doesn't give me that wow factor that makes me feel like I'm spending, you know, roughly $88,000. It gives me kind of more of a $70,000 vibe, which is good. It's a great interior, but it's just missing something, a little something extra competitors like the BMW X7 just have. And I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's the Jeep badge on it. Maybe it's some feeling in there that I see. I don't know why I'm having that feeling. I shouldn't, because they've done such a good job of taking the Jeep out of this vehicle and making it a Wagoneer. So maybe I just need more time with it. Maybe I just need to work on changing my views. You all can let me know what you think in the comments below as to whether or not you would recommend to someone that they buy this vehicle after seeing around it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. You are the reason that we are out here in this 20-degree weather, guys. It's been a lot of fun making these videos. We love you all. We'll see you in next week's video. Like and subscribe. Take care.